but that is what happened to me.
Kelsey, do you feel like you're owed something now, considering that you're found not guilty? All of this stuff has happened to you.
I'll leave that one to you.
Leave that one to the lawyers.
Hey, Kelsey, the judge was not exactly speedy in getting to the ultimate decision. How painful was that to sit there and just wait for it?
I mean, it's okay. He had to go through all the evidence, and it was a lot. So
We thought he was pretty quick, actually.
yeah.
And we obviously, with a good judge, didn't have the issue with the jury. He told us when he was going to decide. We knew he was going to write his decision, which was helpful, and he told that in public. So we had this hybrid trial with the judge. He was both the judge and the jury, and he was forthcoming throughout the trial, transparent, and told us he was going to tell us why the decision, which of course we would not have done with the jury. So it's helpful to have that.
Kelsey, did you have the verdict, in your opinion? Were you surprised these charges were brought in the first place, and why do you think they were?
So I'm just going to repeat what I said earlier to that question. A set of things got set into a motion on June 30th that then followed a narrative starting that night in that room that never really got challenged, that never really got investigated with any investigation of her, that never got tested in any way, but the presumption was that she was a defendant in this case. And so that's unfortunate because she couldn't talk for a while. She's being held for a while. She never got a chance really to tell her story. Ordinarily, the system shouldn't work that way, but both Attorney Dreidel and I have been on both sides of the system. We know how it works, and sometimes when it doesn't work well and it works slowly, that's unfortunately what happened in this case. And we fought every way with Kelsey to make sure that justice was done. It took longer than it should have, we think. It was more painful than it should have been, but look, we got the right result today, and we are happy with that.
So what's the next thing you want to do now that you're not guilty?
Guys, hold on. Let's give these guys over here a chance.
There's a lot of changes that are going to take place today. You have a lot more freedom than you're not. How do you plan to start that journey of freedom?
I want to go for a walk with my dog. I can't wait to take him for a run. I haven't been able to do that. That's our thing. It's going for a run. So I'm sure he would go.
And don't forget, she couldn't do that. She had to sit in her house. That was her best case scenario, that she was a prisoner in her own home. And then her worst case scenario at the outset of this case, and like Martha said, this was such a bumpy road, a long, bumpy road that never should have happened. And, you know, she had to spend time in prison. As a former police officer and corrections officer, she gets sent to jail. Someone with no criminal record, someone who shows up to court, has a wonderful history in this county, and sent to jail. To me, it's unprecedented. It terrorized her, and it's a horrendous, awful thing that happened. This case started out as a circus, and we are so grateful to end up in Lawrence in front of Judge Karp, who, like I said, is an absolute gentleman, a consummate jurist, and he treated everyone in that room with respect, with humanity, with kindness, and we were very appreciative for it.
You have a message to your former colleague?
What do you make of the judge saying he credited both Kelsey's testimony and the testimony of Officer Noonan, who called it confusing?
Well, Charlie, you know, he's the fact finder. He's got to make the sausage in the back room. You know, he's got to think about everything, and you know, it's a tough job for any fact finder in any case, really. But I mean, you know, Kelsey has said to you guys every time we're out here, I can't wait to get to the truth. I can't wait for the truth to come out. And finally, she got her chance, and she told the truth, and she put herself out there. The one person in the whole room that didn't have to testify. She's the one that got up there, put herself out there, and told the truth. And the judge, I think, treated her wonderfully, and was very humane and kind, and listened attentively to not only her, but to everybody in the case. And we're grateful for that.
And I'll just add two things to that. First of all, people can believe they're telling the truth when they're mistaken, so they can appear to be credible but be wrong. And when a defendant like this is credible, I think, as Tim said in his opening and his closing, that creates reasonable And so that's the standard. The Commonwealth always has the burden beyond a reasonable doubt. We didn't know the one thing we weren't going to get was a hung jury here.
So, do you have a question? You okay?
Well, sure you did, but it's okay. How are you feeling, Kelsey? I feel good. I feel relieved. I was eager to do this, and I said from day one, the truth will come out. And I did.
Anybody else?
Maybe this is stumbling up, but you testified that 2 months and the judge seemed, even the prosecutor seemed to agree with that. It's 9 months.
It's not a word. There's no word. It's the most devastating thing that you can do to a new mom. And hopefully, changes will be made where a new mom or anyone will never have to go through something like this.
We've talked about that, and we're going to talk about that with legislators. What kind of a system is it that somebody can walk into court, fill out a piece of paper, and in 15 minutes, take someone's baby away, take a mom of a newborn baby away? It's just an incredible thing, and it shouldn't happen. And we're going to work on some reforms of that statute.
Tim, how much impact do you think it had that the complainant had connections, friends within the law enforcement community? So maybe you can't be just anybody coming into the county.
To be determined, Michael. To be determined. We have some other investigations to work on, and we're going to leave no stone unturned, and we're going to find out exactly how and why this happened, who's responsible, and we're not stopping here. The things that happened to Kelsey, we have, with respect to her home being broken into, we've reported that to the FBI, and I've had it with Essex County, and there are other avenues to pursue, and we're pursuing them, and we're in touch with the FBI on all sorts of federal crimes that were committed, and we're in the process of dealing with it there. That's one example of other avenues that we're taking here. We're not sitting here at Essex County's beck and call. We know where to go, and we know who to talk to, and we are doing that. Anybody else?
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job, Kelsey.
I know. Like a nice one.
Good luck, Kelsey. We wish you the best. See you next month at Family Court. Yes.
No, I'm still, I'm on. Yeah, I got Time to celebrate.
Time to celebrate.
This is Honey with Superpowers by Manakora. It's your daily dose of wellness and the most delicious way to boost immunity, balance inflammation, nurture a healthy gut, and enhance energy. Mannacorta is 100%.
Good afternoon, Ron Martin on the KELSEY FITZSIMMONS matter, docket 2025-77 CR 311. All counsel and the defendant are present.
Thank you. So, before I begin, I'd like to speak to our audience members. I understand that this case has generated a lot of passion and emotion, but you must remember that this is a courtroom and not a sports arena. When I announce my verdict, you must not act out emotionally or visibly or audibly react. So you should leave the courtroom if you believe that you will be unable to maintain your composure. I'd like to start with a few introductory words. Let me say this, this is not in my script. This has been one of the more exhausting, hardest things I've had to do as a judge, as an attorney. And so, as some lawyers know, unlike when a judge presides over a jury rape trial in a civil case, there is no requirement that a judge explain their reasons for reaching a verdict after approval of bench trial. I do so in this case because I think that Ms. FITZSIMMONS, Officer Noonan, and all the people involved in the traffic events of June 30, 2025 deserve an explanation. Next, I'd like to take the opportunity to publicly thank and commend the attorneys in this case. They all did an exceptional job presenting the evidence and conducting themselves in an extremely professional and civil manner. And they did so under the public spotlight in an emotionally charged case. I commend you. To the extent that any of the prosecutors and attorneys may be vilified or subjected to public scorn for simply doing that, any such scorn is unfair, unwarranted, and simply wrong. These prosecutors and attorneys fought hard to perform their solemn jobs fairly with the utmost civility, and professionalism. They serve as a shining example of our adversarial system in operation. Perform a role that Ms. FITZSIMMONS herself, like Officer Noonan, willingly and selflessly performed for the citizens of North Andover. For this, you should be thanked, not disparaged. For those that think that serving as a police officer is easy, or that officers don't care or take pride in their work, I say with more than 3 decades of experience in the criminal justice system that you are naive, misinformed, and sadly mistaken. Confusing and heartbreaking news. Now let me turn to the evidence and the law. Our system of justice requires me to decide this case solely on the law and the evidence. submitted during the trial, the testimony of the 11 witnesses that testified here. While it may be unclear, sympathy play no role in my decision. As for the law, in order to prove Ms. Fitzsimmons guilty of the crime of assault by means of a dangerous weapon, the Commonwealth must prove the following three things. We lawyers call these things elements beyond a reasonable doubt.
To request that those records not be sealed, I cannot accept the form here in court. You must submit it to the Commissioner of Probation at the address provided on the form. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I will hand the signed verdicts as adamant that she did. Perhaps the Commonwealth, without her ever racking the slide after pulling the trigger, that she never pointed a firearm at Officer Newman. Regarding the custody.
This is the best way to cover this gap. I have this gap right here between my stovetop and my countertop where food and stuff gets stuck, and it's super hard to clean. These stove gap guards totally.
It is not my place to decide these issues or even mention my thoughts on them. I am thankful for this because my role has been hard enough. What has made my job especially difficult in this case is that by and large, I found the testimony of Officer Newman and Ms. Fitzsimmons to be credible on the material and relevant points. In my experience, this is unusual and somewhat perplexing. On the one hand, Ms. Fitzsimmons credibly testified that she never pointed a firearm at Officer Newman. On the other hand, Officer Newman testified that not only did Ms. Fitzsimmons point a gun at him, that she also pulled the trigger. Both agree that it happened in seconds near a narrow doorway, and the crime scene photos show that the door frame was made narrower by a clothes rack containing police uniforms that was to Officer Newman's left. The door frame was also made, the door frame was made still narrower when Officer Newman used it to take cover when he drew his firearm. During the closing argument, the Commonwealth argued that it is scientifically and physically impossible for Ms. Fitzsimmons' story to be true because there was a bullet in the chamber, and she said that Officer Newman shot her without her ever racking the slide after pulling the trigger. I disagree that the evidence reflected that the only way to chamber a round would have been to pull the slide under those circumstances. However, even if I assume that Ms. Fitzsimmons lied about not racking the slide, it does not detract from the adamancy and credibility of her testimony that she never pointed the gun at Officer Newman, about which he was equally as adamant that she did. Perhaps the Commonwealth could have easily met its burden if the officers had been wearing body cameras. But under these circumstances, I am left with a reasonable doubt, and I am duty-bound to find that the Commonwealth has not met its burden to prove that Ms. Fitzsimmons committed an assault by means of a dangerous weapon on Officer Newman, and my verdict is, and it must be, not guilty. With that, I will hand the signed verdict slip. I will hand the signed verdict slip to Mr. Rainey and ask that he advise Ms. Fitzsimmons of her statutory rights.
Ms. Fitzsimmons, could you please stand? On docket 2025, 77 CR 311, count 001. The court having returned a verdict of not guilty, the court orders that you be discharged of this indictment and this indictment only, and go thereof without delay. KELSEY Fitzsimmons, as required by statute, I must inform you that the records regarding the charges for which you have been found not guilty will be sealed by the Commissioner of Probation and by the court unless you notify the Commissioner of Probation in writing within 10 days that you do not want those records sealed. To request that those records not be sealed, you may use the request not to seal form posted on the trial court's webpage on mass.gov, or a copy of which I will hand to your counsel. I cannot accept the form here in court. You must submit it to the Commissioner of Probation at the address provided on the form. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Court is in recess. Good, all right.
Here's how I'm doing laundry in 2026. And yeah, it's 2026. We're not using this stuff anymore. And make sure you don't breathe it in. Your lungs don't need this mess. Definitely not using this anymore. This is filled.
Whoo. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to
This is Honey with Superpowers by Manakora. It's your daily dose of wellness and the most delicious way to boost immunity, balance inflammation.
Good afternoon. We're on record on the KELSEY FITZSIMMONS matter, docket 2025, 77 CR 311. All counsel and
is
You want to file free? Hit it.
And I said I was leaving, and then I got the rest of my stuff and picked the car, so I walked back in, and I was going to tell him goodbye.
Mini Miracle Bombs, I'm back. If you haven't heard about Miracle Bombs, let me tell you, honestly, the secret, how I could feel better.
They don't transport if they don't have anything. So when he left, he was alive. He was? Yes. Oh my God. Wow. Listen, you need to breathe, okay? Keep focusing on you.
I was trying to, I want to work this out, and he doesn't love me, I know, but I don't know.
Right now, let's focus on you, okay?
I don't know, you know. Oh my God. I love him. You don't understand. I love him. We got this house together.
I'm going to put this back on you, okay? Alright, can you sit still as possible for me so I can get accurate readings on it, okay? We gotta make sure you're okay, alright? That's my job right now.
Okay. He's the one.
So you're gonna check right our seniors.
He grabbed me by the neck and dragged me upstairs.
Did you hear that, Miss Miracle?
Yes, I did.
He grabbed me by the neck and dragged me upstairs.
Yes, correct.
And that was a lie, correct?
Well, I was hysterical at the time, so yes.
So yes.
Yes.
So just decided to make that up, that Mr. Barron grabbed you by the neck and dragged you up the stairs, even though that in fact did not happen?
I was hysterical. I don't even remember what I said.
Then later on, approximately a couple minutes later, do you remember telling the paramedic that he held you by your throat and tried to pull you up the stairs? Do you remember telling him that a couple minutes later?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So again, doubling down on Mr. Barron grabbing you by your throat and dragging you up the stairs, which is in fact false, correct?
Yes.
And then you, let's see, you also tell the paramedic 2 different times that Mr. Barron had been drinking too much alcohol that night. Do you remember talking to the paramedic about that?
I don't remember exactly, but.
Do you remember stating I told him he was drinking too much and he got so mad at me?
No, I don't remember saying that.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection if I played a clip of the body cam?
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit play at 52:19.
Visionary, probably. Parts 15.
Oh, baby.
Bravo, you know, 7. D1D 7.
Oh, God. I told him he was drinking too much. He got so mad at me.
Did you hear that, Miss Miracle?
Yes, I did.
So was that you saying that I told him he was drinking too much and he got so mad at me?
Yes, I did say that.
Mr. Barron had in fact not been drinking alcohol that night, correct?
Correct.
So that was also a lie.
Well, he was drinking it during the day, but not at night.
So when you told the or I guess this is to the officers, when you told the deputies that one of the reasons that Mr. Barron got angry at you that night was because you told him he was drinking too much alcohol, that was in fact a lie.
No, I may have told him that because I thought he was, but he wasn't.
You thought he was drinking, but he wasn't?
No, he was drinking earlier in the daytime.
So he was mad at you earlier in the day as well, then, it sounds like.
Yes.
So I thought that, isn't it correct that you had stated that the day was actually perfectly fine, correct?
Part of the day was, yes.
You guys went and got your provisional license, correct?
Right.
Went to Olive Garden for lunch, correct?
Right.
You were watching a movie earlier in the night, correct?
Well, I was watching the movie. He was sleeping.
He was sleeping. So at some point, apparently, he was drinking too much and got mad at you for calling him out for it, sounds like?
During the afternoon.
Okay. You also talked about in this body cam, do you remember stating basically that Mr. Barron said that if you moved, you were talking about wanting to sell the lake house, that you and Mr. Barron were fighting about wanting to sell the lake house. Do you remember talking about that?
No, I do not.
Okay. Let's go to a little bit ahead. I'm going to hit play at 54:42.
For the next 3 months, make it a habit. 10 minutes a day to get unrecognizable by June.
To the woman over 50 who hasn't exercised in years.
I was just gonna move this forward, that I just couldn't deal with it. And you got so mad at me. I mean, I'm just, I told him if he wanted to bring with her, it could. I told him I wasn't mad at him. I just tired. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I just said if I started dating, we had a nice night. I got mad. I told him that I didn't want this house anymore. That he told me he didn't want the house. He said, "Do you want it?" I said, "Let's just sell it." And I told him, because he's been paying that woman in Romania money, and I just said, "You can pay the rent for the next 6 months, and let's just not see each other, talk to each other, and let's just." He said, "If I moved on, he would kill me."
So you told deputies that Mr. Barron told you that basically you wanted to sell the house, and he basically said, if you move on, that he's going to kill you, correct?
So I couldn't understand what I was saying on there, but yeah, yes.
You want me to go back and
No, I just couldn't pick it up with my ear.
Sure, I can play it back. I'll go back 20 seconds. So I'm going to hit play again at 56:33.
Not see each other, talk to each other, and let's just. He said, "If I moved on, he would kill me."
Were you able to hear it that time?
Yes, I heard it.
Okay. Mr. Barron had actually been the one to try and break up with you a couple times, though. Isn't that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Do you remember when Investigator Mefford was testifying on direct last week? Do you remember that?
When he testified?
Yes, correct.
Yesterday?
Last week, so it would have been Friday.
Okay, yes.
Do you remember him reading some text messages between you and Mr. Barron?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to show you Oh goodness. Guess I need to figure out what exhibit number this is. Let's see if I can figure this out. This is text from January 13th. So I believe I'm gonna triple check. Yep, this is State's Exhibit 249. So this is text between you and Mr. Barron from January 13th, and you sent him, how many women are you texting? Why did you delete if there was nothing to see? I feel so unwanted by you. Is that correct?
Yes.
You said, I feel like I am not enough for you, correct?
Yes.
And he says, wow, correct?
Right. Yes.
So then you send some more texts talking about you're very sad. I thought I wanted everything free, or I thought I was everything for you, correct? This is all you in the green.
Yes, it is.
And then you say, what does Lilia have, Laura? If you want them, go find them, correct?
Yes.
And then he asks if you're drinking, correct?
Yes, he did.
And you say, no, I'm not enough for you, correct?
No, what?
I'm not enough for you?
Yes.
And then you keep responding, you keep texting, you keep texting. Then right here at 8:39 p.m., Mr. Barron says, okay, let's end this. You will never trust me no matter what I tell or say to you. There's nothing that can satisfy you, correct?
Correct.
And then you respond, I feel all alone. I know you will never understand. I thought you loved me with all of your heart, but you don't. You care for Lilia, Laura, and I don't know who else. I am tired. I am not at my waterfront condo trying to figure out what to do, correct?
Yes.
And he says, I don't care for anyone but you can't understand that, correct?
Right.
And then he says, I will not come down this weekend and will hire an attorney on our house situation, correct?
Correct.
And you say, please call me. You don't have to hire an attorney, correct?
Correct.
So you're asking Mr. Bear not to hire an attorney because you don't want him to basically get out of this house situation with you, correct?
No, because we can handle it without an attorney.
Okay, so you are fine with breaking up. You just don't want an attorney to get involved.
I never really said break up. We were just, it would be just like a short little break when he said, okay, I'm never going to make you, you'll never trust me no matter what I tell or say. He didn't actually say he was breaking up, but it was just the beginning of it.
So he said, okay, let's end this.
Right.
You will never trust me no matter what I say, tell you or say. There's nothing that I can do to satisfy you.
Right, that time we did, yes.
Okay, so this is him attempting to break up with you,
Yes.
correct? Okay. So I want to talk about, well, I guess first, also in Deputy Thompson's body cam, you talk about the DUI, correct? The DUI arrest.
Yes.
And you told the deputy that you decided to drive home because you leave around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning anyway, pretty much, correct?
Correct.
And then at some point you kind of switch that a little bit and you tell the deputy, well, he made me leave, correct?
Correct.
And then later on in your interview with Investigator Mefford, you also talk about your DUI arrest, correct?
Correct.
And you give him this like long, elaborate story about how you guys got into a fight that night, correct?
Correct.
And that Mr. Barron went up into the room and locked the door to go to sleep, correct?
I don't remember exactly, but.
Sure. Would you like to listen to a clip of your interview? Would you like
No,
to?
I remember what he said, but I just don't remember that vividly right now. That's what I mean.
Okay.
I remember I said it to him.
Let's see. Here's your interview. I'm going to go to about 38 minutes.
Well, I leave between 3 and 4 anyway. So I got up, got dressed.
I was lucky. I'm going to go back about 20 seconds and I'm going to hit play at 38:31.
I went upstairs. I laid there for about 3 hours. I couldn't go to sleep, so I thought I was going to go on to St. Simon's because I usually get up I leave between 3 and 4 anyway. So I got up, got dressed, got all my stuff and put it in my car. And then I went upstairs and knocked. He had the door locked. I knocked on the door and I said I was leaving. And then I got the rest of my stuff and put it in the car. So I walked back in and I was going to tell him goodbye. And he was sitting on the steps, on the second flight of steps. And he said, good, get out of here, or whatever. You didn't try to talk to me and stay. And so I left. And I had 3 major surgeries.
So, that's a story you told Investigator Mefford about the DUI, correct?
Yes.
And it's your testimony that, in fact, none of that is true, correct?
Correct. I wasn't going to tell him anything that happened, that David did to me that night.
And you testified that what actually happened that night was he woke you up tapping your foot with his gun?
Yes.
And that he held your arms above your head, correct?
Yes.
And that he lifted up your shirt, correct?
Yes.
And he started, you said, slapping or beating your breasts?
Yes.
Did you have any bruising from that event?
Yes, I did.
Can you kind of explain to me what did the bruising look like?
Just big bruises over my breast.
Like big visible ones?
The pictures of my arm, but put those on my breast.
So those bruises we saw on your arm looks just like that, but on your breast?
No, similar to that.
Similar to that, okay.
They were black and blue.
So really visible bruising?
Visible bruising, yes.
Okay. Is there a reason why bruising wouldn't have been noted in your jail intake form from that night?
They didn't even undress me. All they did was bring me in there and push me in a cell, and they took off my shoes. That's it. They never questioned me about anything or looked at my clothes or did anything.
So if the jail intake form went through a detailed list of how your body looked that night and said that there was no marks, scratches, or bruising on your body, that would be because they didn't look at your body?
They didn't look at my body.
Okay. So moving on, you repeatedly told Investigator Mefford that you did not shoot Mr. Barron's gun, correct?
Correct.
But then your testimony was that you did shoot Mr. Barron's gun.
Correct.
I want to ask you about what you told Investigator Mefford about this whole kitchen interaction when these live shell casings came out. Do you remember talking about that with Investigator Mefford?
Did you say kitchen?
Mm-hmm. When you were in the kitchen with Mr. Barron and he was having you play with his gun. Do you remember telling that story?
Yes, I do remember that.
Was that whole entire story a complete lie?
It was not true. The story was not true because I didn't want to let him know that I was ashamed to admit that I tried to take my life.
Because you were worried that your fingerprints might be found on his gun, correct?
No, that's not correct because I was afraid my children would see that I tried to commit suicide.
So walk me through how making up that story about you playing with Mr. Barron's gun in the kitchen would be a cover for you attempting to commit suicide.
What do you mean? Say that again.
So the story that you made up to Investigator Mefford about you playing with Mr. Barron's gun in the kitchen was a lie, correct? Yes. Help me understand how that story was the story that you came up with to cover up your suicide attempt.
The story I came up with to cover up my suicide attempt.
Is that what that story was?
I think my hand got jammed in the gun.
Correct.
And that was the reason I said that.
So all I'm asking is for you to help me understand where you got this story about playing with Mr. Barron's gun in the kitchen from.
Set up.
Why?
Because I got the gun jammed in my finger right here. And I didn't want to have to explain that I tried.
So the story you gave investigator Mefford, I'm going to go to 44. We're going to start at 4425.
Take your bra off and switch to this one now. This bra lifts your bust like no other. From this,
That was another big fight. We keep getting in these fights because of this woman. And that's what we got to fight that night that I left. And then tonight, so we got to fight with about, and he went into the bedroom and got some stuff because he's going to sleep upstairs. And he got his gun out. And I said, why are you getting your gun out? And we went to the kitchen and he said, I just want it for protection. And I said, okay. And so he said, take the strap off the gun. So
Why did you specifically say that Mr. Barron told you to take the strap off the gun? Why did you add that part to your story?
I don't know.
It wasn't possibly because you were worried that your fingerprints might be on the strap or the button of the gun holster?
I said, I don't know why.
Just decided it would be important to throw in there that you unhooked the holster from the gun.
Well, I unhooked it when I tried to commit suicide.
Okay, we'll talk about that then. You unhooked the gun from the holster when you tried to commit suicide. That's what you're saying?
Right.
But you say multiple times to Investigator Mefford that, in fact, Mr. Barron's gun was laying right next to his body when you got into the bedroom, correct?
I don't know where his gun was laying.
Was it in the holster or was it not in the holster?
It was on the bed, I believe.
His gun?
Yes, in the holster.
So his gun, so now your testimony is that his gun was in the holster on the bed.
I can't really remember where his gun was. I was hysterical when I got up there.
Well, you would agree, you told Investigator Mefford numerous times that his gun was laying right next to his body when you got in the room, correct?
Correct.
And that you remember even pushing the gun to the side when you got into the room to check on Mr. Barron, correct?
Okay, correct.
But now your testimony is that his gun was actually in the holster on the bed when you got into the bedroom?
I really can't honestly remember where the gun was. I was hysterical when I got in there. I know it was either on the bed or on the floor.
Okay, so now we have no idea where the gun was when you got into the room.
I can't remember.
Okay. But so now going back to my original question of your statement was that you talked about taking the strap off of the gun because you had to take the strap off of the gun when you tried to commit suicide. Correct?
Correct.
So that's why you threw that in there about the kitchen story?
I guess. I really don't remember.
So is it potentially because you were worried about your fingerprints being on the snap of the holster?
No, not really. That's not why I said that.
So why did you say that then?
I don't know why.
Okay. I'm gonna hit play again. I paused it at 45:11. I'm gonna hit play.
Well, he said, this is what you need to get on your gun because I don't have a strap around my gun. And then he said, is this gun cheap? He said, put it in your hands and hold it. Because I mean, and then he took the gun in his hand and he took and took it on his shoulder. And then I asked him to come, don't go upstairs and not be mad at each other. and just let's talk about.
So why did you add in the part in that story about how the gun fit just nicely in your hand? What was the point in throwing that false detail into that story?
I don't remember why the reason was.
I'm going to skip ahead to 158. Am I at 150?
Yeah, 130.
Oh, wait. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to hit play at 158.01.
Understand this one more time. We need to explain this again, okay? So he's up. So let's start with going up the stairs. Okay, start there.
So we're downstairs on the kitchen, by the kitchen. Okay, he has his gun. That's when he takes it out of the casing. Asks me if my hand, I have a top, if my hand can go around his gun. He told me to take his cover off the gun. So I did that. There was no gun, nothing got fired or anything. Okay, I pulled that thing back. He told me to pull it back.
Yes.
Okay, that's when 2 or 3 of them fell out on the floor.
Stop pulling back.
So again, you specifically mentioned that you took the gun out of the holster, correct?
Correct.
And that he told you to hold the gun, and then you explicitly talk about pulling the slide back to the gun, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And just to be clear, you could hear him talking to you through the door that night, correct?
I heard him say yes to me.
So it wasn't that you could not hear him on the other side of the door, correct?
I heard him say yes.
You also heard him make a noise when he was shot, correct?
Yes.
And why were you so, in this story, you're very specific with Investigator Mefford that you flushed those shell casings down the downstairs toilet in the master bedroom, correct?
Correct.
And you're very adamant about, I did not flush them upstairs, I only flushed them downstairs, correct?
Yes, I couldn't remember where I flushed them. I was hysterical at the time.
Okay, so that was just a mistake that you were being very adamant about where you flushed those bullets?
Yes.
Why?
when I was talking to Evan.
You also told your son McLean, correct?
I'm not sure I told him exactly about Lilia or not. I just told him he was going to have to move out because we were having problems.
In the times that you and Mr. Barron got in fights about Lilia, David would basically separate himself from you, correct?
No, not correct. Not always.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. So December 28th is the first night you found out about Lilia, correct?
I found out that she was texting him, yes.
And that night he left and went to a hotel, correct?
Exactly, yes.
And you disagree with Evan's testimony that you pointed the gun at Mr. Barron that night, correct?
Correct.
But Evan's testimony was that you called him frantic, saying that you pointed the gun at Mr. Barron, correct?
I did not have a gun with me that night. I flew to Atlanta that weekend, and you can't take a firearm with you.
Okay, and Mr. Barron was yelling because he wanted to get his keys so that he could leave, correct?
The keys were on the bathroom counter.
And you had locked yourself in the bathroom.
I locked myself in the bathroom in the commode. There's a separate part of the commode area. And that's why I locked myself. But the keys were right out there. He was right there beside him. I kept telling him the keys were right there and he wouldn't listen.
So he's yelling for his keys because he wants to leave to go to a hotel, but his keys are sitting right there?
His keys are right there on the vanity, yes.
And then January 4th, you get into another fight about Lilia, correct?
Yes.
And David, again, leaves and goes to a hotel, correct?
Well, no, that's the night. He didn't know I found out about her that night. That's the night he threw my purse out the window of my car, and then I had his stuff, and he didn't come pick it up. I left his stuff at Seagate Inn for him to pick up, and he didn't pick it up, so I took it with me in my car. And then I found out that I read through his briefcase. I was looking through a satchel bag, and I saw where he was sending family. It said family support on the letters to the money for Lilia. Right. He didn't know I found out that night.
So that's the night, January 4th is the night where you went through his briefcase, correct?
I went through his, the satchel bag. Yes, I got it out. But he was already at a hotel.
And
got in a fight earlier.
So he was already at the hotel?
Right, because I told him he couldn't stay with me that night.
So he left and went to a hotel. That was my original question.
I told him he couldn't stay with me, so that he had no choice but to leave.
Okay, so he left that time too. Then on February 1st, this is the St. Simon's incident.
Yes.
He was also trying to leave the condo in St. Simon's, correct?
I asked him again to leave because he slapped me.
So all these are because you were asking him to leave, apparently.
Well, he didn't have a place to stay, so he had to go find a hotel.
So he's trying to leave, correct?
Not trying to leave, he left.
He's trying to get in to get his belongings so that he can leave that night, correct?
I already put his belongings outside the door.
Well, earlier you testified that you said that you were going to go up and get his stuff, but then he followed you up and then he was trying to push his way into the condo to get his things.
I was putting the stuff out the door and he comes in the door. I was putting the stuff out the front door and he comes up to it and that's when he pushes me backwards.
So when the police came, all of his stuff should be outside the door?
It was right there by the door. It was right there by the kitchen door.
Inside or outside?
Part of it was outside and part of it was inside.
So again, on body cam that we have, some of his stuff should be waiting outside for him.
No, it wasn't waiting out there for him. I'd put it right by the kitchen door, so it was still inside.
Okay, so it was still inside,
well,
correct?
Because he came up there and banged the door open, that's why.
Okay, so I'm just confused because 2 seconds ago you testified that all of his stuff was already outside and the reason that you wouldn't let him in was because he was trying to come in anyway.
No, all of his stuff was not outside.
Well, then you said some of his stuff was outside and some of his stuff was inside.
Some of it was inside by the kitchen and some was by the door.
But all of it was inside of the condo.
It was inside, right.
Okay, so he could not leave until he was able to get inside the condo to get his belongings, correct?
Right, and I was trying to get him out to the door for him.
Okay. February 16th, that's the night you get arrested for DUI, correct?
Yes.
And he has locked himself up in the guest bedroom, correct?
Yes.
And March 7th, get in a fight about Lilia again, correct? March 7th. And he has locked himself up in the guest bedroom, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about your phone. So your testimony was that the reason that you attempted to shoot the lock off the doors because you wanted to get your phone, correct?
Correct.
Because he had your phone, correct?
Yes, he did have my phone.
And he had at this point told you that he had your phone, correct?
Yes.
Is this before or after he forced you to perform oral sex on him?
This is after we had my phone in the beginning.
Okay.
He had my phone in the beginning. Remember when I asked for where my phone was?
Taxes was chasing updates and getting nowhere. Now Taxes is a turbo.
Could you introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name?
Yeah, it's John Haywood Jr., Heywood.
And sir, how old are you?
52 years old.
And where do you live?
Salisbury, Mass.
How long have you lived in Salisbury, sir?
Overall, I'd say about 35 years on and off.
Okay, born there?
I was born there, then I moved away for a little bit, and now I'm back.
Came back. All right, and we don't need your exact address, but where in Salisbury do you live, sir?
Salisbury Beach.
Okay. And do you work, sir?
Yes, I do.
What do you do for work?
Sheet metal worker.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
31 years.
All right. Now, sir, I want to take you back to November of 2022, and really even before that. Did you know an individual named Leroy Fowler Sr., sometimes referred to as Big Leroy?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you know Mr. Fowler?
He is my first cousin on my father's side.
Okay. And just for purposes of the questions I'm going to ask you today, there's been some discussion in the trial about his son, Leroy Fowler, as well as his father, also Leroy Fowler, who mentioned. All the questions I'm asking you today apply to Leroy Fowler Sr., who's about your age.
It's actually Leroy Fowler Jr.
Exactly. That's why I made that little announcement. So we're talking about Leroy Fowler Jr., Big Leroy.
Yeah.
All right. So you said that Mr. Fowler was your first cousin?
Yes.
So you guys pretty close in age, so grew up together?
He was about 6, 7 years older than me.
Okay.
As a child, elementary school type, we were kind of close as a family. As we grew older, not so much.
Okay. So in the last couple of years of his life, sir, how often would you see Mr. Fowler?
In the summertime, once to twice a month. Not really at all through the winter.
Okay. And were these sort of planned meetings or planned get-togethers, or was just
No.
what were the circumstances under which you would sometimes?
We both lived on Salisbury Beach, so if I went to a bar or a restaurant, I would usually see him there.
Okay. And did you know a woman named Judy Church?
Yes, I did.
How did you meet Miss Church?
She was dating Leroy.
Okay. And how long had you known Miss Church as of 2022, sir? Give or take.
I'm gonna guess since they first got together, so maybe 8 years or so.
Okay. And when you would see Mr. Fowler out and about on Salisbury Beach, would you see Miss Church as well?
Yes, usually.
Okay. And did you ever did you see her by herself as opposed to with Mr.
A couple
Church?
times.
How was your relationship with Mr. Fowler, sir?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Miss Church?
Same.
All right.
No issues.
No issues. All right. Now, you said that these meetings that you described for us were generally just happenstance. You just happened to be in the same bar, the same part of the beach as Mr. Church. Excuse me, Miss Church or Mr. Fowler.
Yep.
Did you have any planned meetups that you guys ever?
No, never.
No. Okay. Now, sir, I want to draw your attention specifically to the summer of 2022. Now, during that, during the summer, and I know you don't remember the exact date, did you have occasion to run into Mr. Fowler and Miss Church at one of the bars on Salisbury Beach?
Yes, I did.
What bar was that?
Uncle Eddie's.
Okay. And what kind of a establishment? You know, it's a bar, but what kind of establishment is Uncle Eddie's?
It's considered a dive bar.
Okay. And popular?
Very.
Okay. And did you on one of those one day in the summer 2022 run into both Mr. Fowler and Miss Church in Uncle Eddie's?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a planned meetup?
No, it's not.
Just happened to be in there at the same time?
Yep.
Okay. And did you have a conversation, interact socially with them while they were in the bar?
Yes. When I saw them, we usually interacted.
Okay. Do you remember what day of the week it was?
It was either a Saturday or a Sunday. I don't.
And how do you remember that?
Because I'm usually away in the summertime. I live up in the mountains for the most part.
Okay.
But I happen to be home that weekend.
Okay. And was it crowded?
Very.
All right. Now, at some point during your interactions with Mr. Fowler and Miss Church that day, did the subject of cheating on a partner or spouse come up?
Yes.
Okay. And what was Miss Church's comment about that sort of activity?
She said, if he ever cheats on me, I will poison him.
Okay. All right. And did the conversation just kind of continue on from there?
Yeah, there was a little more talk afterwards.
Okay. And then, how much longer did you spend socializing with them that day?
If I had to guess, the total conversation through the whole time they were there, maybe 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Nothing further.
Okay.
Who is this witness?
I do, Judge.
Mr. Scully.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is traditional foundation making you look worse?
Traditional foundations are not great for lines in the face. It's sticky.
Morning, sir.
Hello.
My name is Liam Scully. I represent Judy Church.
Okay.
You and I have never spoken or met, right?
No.
Okay. So, you just testified.
And I said I was leaving.
Was M&T, they break everything down. It's that real proactive reaching out. That's why I chose M&T.
It's time. The Genesis signature event going on now. Get 1.99% APR or select owners can lease the GB80 for $399 per month. Exclusively at your New England Genesis retailers.
Oh, that's how you did it.
Right here.
How much did you cut?
Oh my God.
Really? Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, they're letting it charge because it didn't charge overnight. So we're gonna let it charge till the last second. Okay, yeah, I was just gonna leave it on there until.
Oh my gosh, thank you for telling me.
Yeah. Hi, welcome. Yeah, I've been following along. I know you're always happy to see me sitting at the table when you come in.
Does she do the talking one or? No, she does the word thing. She works for Bill. I'll be at Bill's people. She works for Bill. I'll ask you. Such a cool skill. Do you think this is an okay one to read? Just this little.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible. Nina can't code.
Interesting. Can it generate reports?
It can now.
Nice.
So you're saying we can all build apps now?
Yeah.
I'm on lunch.
I gotta make a call.
I'll be in my office.
Just built an inventory tracker.
Protein calculator.
Book sharing app.
A workflow manager that
Tracks who still owes for the group lunch.
Trash duty schedule. Since no one seems to care.
just built a
I just
performance
created a
manager.
goal tracking system.
We built the same thing, didn't we?
Yep.
Future. First rate. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to. Right, you would agree. I think that's fine. I mean, it's just part of it.
If you have your report, it's not the last paragraph, but the second to last tall paragraph of page 5.
I'm ready.
Okay. Did you note something in her interview with Investigator Mefford at the Law Enforcement Center where she makes a statement about, I don't know if I should tell you everything?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember that statement being sandwiched between requests for his status and whether he was still alive?
That's correct.
What is the significance from your standpoint, in a clinical sense and in a treatment sense, of asking if he's alive, then making the statement, I don't know if I should tell you everything, and then asking again if he's alive, and then not telling, basically, about this prior violence?
Well, the significance here is that Ms. Miracle asks repeatedly whether or not Mr. Barron is alive, and she's really never given that information. Even though it was known, it was known to investigator, it wasn't known to her. And so for all intents and purposes, she thinks that Mr. Barron is still alive. So long as she thinks that Mr. Barron is potentially alive, she remains in fear of him and isn't going to disclose.
Ms. Bennett asked you questions about the jail counseling that Ms. Miracle was provided.
Yes.
And you've stated that, she was told not to talk about the event with the counselor, but Is it correct that she was reporting difficulty sleeping and hypervigilance,
That's correct.
claustrophobia?
That's correct.
Did she report withdrawal and hopelessness?
Yes.
Was she presenting with a flat affect?
Yes.
And did the therapist note she was speaking in low tones with a monotone voice, making minimal eye contact?
That's correct.
Did she even make the statement to the therapist, "I don't deserve anything better"?
Yes.
Did she report recurrent nightmares,
Yes.
intrusive thoughts?
Yes.
Did she talk about increased heart rate and sweating?
Yes.
Did she also describe feeling empty and numb?
Yes.
Was she observed with a slumped body posture by the therapist?
Yes.
Are these, or did she appear with disheveled and fatigued?
Yes.
Did she have minimum eye contact and speak in soft, monotone, flat voice to the therapist?
Yes.
Is this consistent with a person suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and other stuff?
Yes, that's a great way to characterize it. So some of these symptoms overlap, but some do not. Nightmares, the heart racing, the intrusive memories or intrusive thoughts, those are very specific to PTSD.
Ms. Bennett asked you questions about the word we were using was index event.
That's correct.
Okay. And maybe everybody knows exactly what we're talking about when we say index event, but index event in this case is, correct me if I'm not stating it right, it's the event identified by the person that has the post-traumatic stress disorder as the cause of this, or as the primary cause of what you said, exposure to a life-threatening event.
Yes, the most distressing event.
And for PTSD, it has to be exposure to a life-threatening event.
That's correct.
Judge, can I have the Elmo, please? Is the exposure to the life-threatening event, the index event that she identified was the pistol to her lips, correct?
Correct.
What you saw on the body cameras that you watched those 3 hours, is her behavior consistent or inconsistent with an acute trauma response to a life-threatening event?
Yes, it is consistent.
Listen, I don't know how long we're going to have these limited edition scents in stock, so if you want to try Island Tropics, Calming Lavender, or Fresh Spring Blossoms, now's the time. It's perfect timing, in fact. Right now, we have a 4-pack bundle that lets you mix and match the scents that you want.
Last question. In your work with victims in intimate partner relationships, how does the abuser typically respond to information that the victim is moving on?
Angrily.
Is that something that the victim is going to respond to in any way other than with violence or anger, in your experience?
Could you repeat the question,
Yeah.
just so I understand?
When the victim is told and learns that there's a threat when the abuser is told that the victim is now moving on in the intimate partner violence relationship,
Yes.
how is that abuser going to respond to this new information based on your experience?
So most often, the abuser will do something aggressive or violent to try and get the victim to stay in the relationship.
And is that consistent with the case file in this case, once Mr. Barron learned about Mr. English?
Correct.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. You may be excused.
Jim first here. I'm going to move this chair just so I can get back here again so I don't have stuff on me. Is that okay? I saw
Welcome. Come on up. Raise your right hand. You swear affirm the testimony about to give you the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, help you God.
I shall.
Thank you so much. If you would have a seat, please speak in the microphone. State your full legal name.
Go ahead and state your name.
Jim Persinger, Persinger.
Judge, I'm sorry, may we approach?
Sure. Come on up.
So that I can have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Persinger before he testifies.
Is it enough? That last is very long.
Yep. And then we ordered 2 days ago. She was refused any communication about the Yeah, that was it. The report didn't have information. They told it was from the year. At this point, they had. And it was like, the opportunity to go through the prison, and he said, no, you know, those 2 years, and we didn't even have someone here, and they were acting as a. For her. And when if they didn't even want to ask the question if there was a available number, you can stay and asking for 5 minutes.
right. Again, folks, lawyers just doing their job. Thank you so much.
Start again. Jim, if you could start at the beginning, go ahead and set your name again and give us a spelling.
Yeah, Jim Persinger, Persinger.
Tell the court and the members of the jury what you're currently doing, what your current employment is, and what your title is.
I'm the CEO of PM Investigations. I'm a digital forensics, cybercrime, and software developer that deals with data.
What sort of work is it that you do at PM Investigations? You stated some of that, but can you tell us what it is that you do there?
Well, outside of the administration information, I deal with data. So if you've got a computer, a cell phone, an SD card, CD, or anything that has data on it, I make what's called the forensic image of it. I then analyze that forensic image and extract information. If it's cybercrime, which is information that's happening currently, I go online, capture it, and then analyze it. And the software that I develop is primarily for law enforcement that deals with digital forensics and cybercrime.
What does a digital forensic specialist do specifically?
So again, I'll take data, and as I analyze it, I'll study some of the case elements, such as the incident and what took place, study the time, and then start to work on finding location of what we call the artifacts that is contained within that data and extract it. And then I'll put it into more or less a human readable format, something that's easy to understand and follow.
Stop treating your wavy hair like it's curly. It took me way too long to realize why my hair routine wasn't working for me. I was doing a curly routine on my hair because that's what TikTok told me to do, and I was not getting the results that I wanted. I was deep conditioned.
What does a cybercrime specialist do?
So what that specialist does is work closely with the internet. Somebody may be actually online posing as somebody, or is creating some kind of fake post, doing something to the internet that is currently underway. And I'll capture that information and track it to see if I can trace where the individual may be and what the contents may be about.
And what does a cell phone examiner do?
So with the cell phone analysis, again, I'll make a forensic image of it, and that image is equal to what's on the cell phone. I'll then load it up into forensic software to start analyzing it, again, studying part of the case file to look for artifacts that will help isolate what we're trying to learn about that particular data.
Can you tell us roughly how many cases as a digital forensic specialist that you've been involved with?
Over the past 25 years, I've been involved with over 5,000 cases. I've analyzed over 6,000 devices.
25,000. It was 25 years, and you said, and I got the 1,000 wrong. I missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, about 5,000 cases, and then there's close to 1,000 different cell phones that I've also analyzed. So about 6,000 total devices, from a computer to a memory card to a cell phone.
And are these civil, criminal, both types of cases?
They're both.
Have you conducted any investigations into cell phones as part of your involvement in these various cases that you've listed out?
I'm sorry, could you ask the question?
Have you conducted any investigation of cell phones as part of those 5,000 cases?
I have.
Roughly how many cases have you been involved with that involve cell phones?
Well, of the cases, about 600, again, about 1,000 cell phone devices.
Okay. Now, when we say cell phone, that can mean different, I guess, brands or types, correct?
Correct.
So have you worked on both Android phones and iPhones?
Yeah, that's correct.
So we retained you in this case, is that correct?
That's correct.
In some of the cases that you've worked on in the past, have you been retained by the government or the state?
That's correct.
And have you been on both sides of cases in both criminal cases and civil cases?
That's correct.
Briefly, just tell us what types of cases you've been involved in, especially on the criminal side and then also on the civil side.
Well, for the criminal side, everything from murder, child pornography, intellectual property theft, hacking, any kind of data that really involved anything that may have been where somebody maybe took pictures, analyzing the metadata to determine when the picture was physically taken, to cell phone records, analyzing those to see when they were hitting particular cell towers, just about any kind of case you could imagine, from your simple theft up to your murder cases. On the civil side, it's been not only accident investigations, again, your intellectual property thefts, your divorce cases, which I don't do many of anymore, but the data that encompasses those civil cases can stretch even from people that are sending emails that were forged or, trying to be somebody else.
Can you tell us something about your work prior to being at PM Investigations?
Well, again, those prior cases are going to be a plethora of different types, from analyzing pictures to videos to documents, seeing when they were created, if they were opened, if they were deleted, how they were deleted, what the individual used to obtain the data. The processes are pretty much endless. I mean, I've been in technology for about 40 years. I've been a software developer for almost 35 years. I've learned to write code so that I can extract certain pieces of elements from the data to make those artifacts so we can understand it.
Did you also work in law enforcement for a period of time?
I did.
Can you tell us about that?
I retired from Cobb County Police. After my retirement, they called me back as kind of a consultant to help with the high-tech crime unit, to help them develop not only the material that they needed to start analyzing cases, but to get prepared for testifying and to get ready for the wave of technology as it comes to be.
Do you currently hold any kind of licensing, professional licensing, board memberships, things of that sort?
I do.
Tell us what those are.
So I'm a licensed private investigator. I'm a licensed private investigator instructor. I'm a post instructor. A post is police officer standard training. That means I can teach law enforcement and they get credit that is required for them to maintain their arrest powers.
And you teach them about digital forensics, basically.
That's correct.
I think maybe I had asked you this before, but do you have any board memberships or other licenses besides being post certified and teaching at post? Do you have any board memberships?
Yeah, I'm also on what's called the American Digital Forensics Association, which is here in Atlanta. That is a organization that specifically outlines what a investigator needs to do, how they do the work that they do. I'm a prior on the board of ASU Dunwoody that does the course content for young investigators that want to become digital forensic specialists.
And just a short summary of education and training that you have, in addition to all the things you've already talked about.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been talking about is, when I first got into this in 2000, there wasn't really digital forensics and cybercrime. So I started out doing extraction from hard drives to do data recovery, to building websites. And I got a call from a then prosecutor who needed some assistance with data in a child pornography case, and was able to help get that data off of the hard drive so that it stayed pure. And then as a follow-up that, a defense attorney hired me in a civil matter to recover lost money that was on a hard drive where we found the secretary was stealing from the company. And that launched the career.
You mentioned you teach at Post, which is for most, I think all officers have to go through Post before they get certified as law enforcement officers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Have you taught at other agencies besides just our local Post agency here in Georgia?
I have.
Where have you taught as in addition
the
to Post?
FBI, the GBI, Secret Service, Homeland Security, several different law enforcement agencies around the United States, the sheriff's departments.
Have you done research and writing in the field that you work in digital forensics?
I have.
Get tax expertise without hidden fees. Switch to a TurboTax expert for $150.
Have you produced any content or done any software development in the field of digital forensics? You mentioned this a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that you lay this out there too.
Yes, I have. One of the software applications I developed is called Field Search. I have 32,000 plus law enforcement agencies worldwide, from our military, the Canadian Border Police, down to Australia. Just about every law enforcement agency that is close to Georgia is using Field Search that allows them to quickly analyze data, extract the data into a PDF format for prosecution.
And this was a software that you made. Is that correct?
Yes, I developed it. We're now on the 5th version, and it's been out for about 12 years, 13 years.
Do you hold any patents?
I do.
Can you tell us about those?
First was ICE, in case of internet emergency. I'm the first with the 911 button for children, where a children feels threatened at school, could be through cyberbullying, could be through anything that is dealing at home, that the child would push this button, it would collect certain pieces of information, allow the child to write a sentence or two about what's going on, and the information gets disseminated to those of authority. And then the authority would analyze that information and decide what to do about the situation. The other one's called Iron Shield. Iron Shield is a firewall that is one of the first. It's like 36 Rubik's Cubes inside one Rubik's Cube that's constantly changing patterns. And it keeps your network safe beyond safe, so that by the time somebody got into it and figured out the algorithm, 20 years would pass. Therefore, the data would be useless to an individual.
Have you ever been qualified as an expert in court?
I have.
Can you give us an approximate number of times that you've been tendered and accepted as an expert in court?
Dozens of times.
And can you give this court an example where you've been qualified as an expert?
Just about every county of Georgia, to New York, California, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, the federal district here in Georgia, both the middle and the south and the northern, and other federal courts around the United States.
Have there been times you've been called as an expert by the court itself?
I have. It's what they sometimes call the expert's expert. I've had situations where two experts were analyzing data. They couldn't make a determination as to what the data said. The court called me to make a determination as to which part of the artifacts were more accurate.
Judge, at this time, we are tendering Mr. Persinger as an expert in digital forensics and cellular data.
No objections.
So ordered. Again, folks, as with any witness, believe the witness, don't believe the witness. Thank you so much.
Upwork is our one-stop shop for hiring. We can find, hire, and pay all in one place. Not only do they have world-class freelance talent, their AI-powered tools search through candidates for us, so we can match with the perfect person for the project, which makes hiring easy.
Get a match, get moving. Upwork.
Looking for lighting? See what's trending now on Wayfair.com. We've made it easier than ever to find your dream fixture on any budget. For a shortcut to the good stuff, try Wayfair Verified. Each item's carefully inspected for quality, highly rated by customers, and valued just right for the price. From modern table lamps to statement-making chandeliers, we've got options for every space. Shipping seamless too, with free and easy delivery. Shop every style for every home at Wayfair.com.
How was it that you got involved in this case?
Through your office, you had made contact with me regarding 2 cell phone extractions that was done by law enforcement.
The 2 cell phones, I think you've sort of identified them by color, is kind of how you thought of them. So can you tell us what those 2 cell phones are and how you've identified those?
So the 2 cell phones are iPhones. One is a 11 and the other one is a 13. The 11 I consider to be the gray phone, and the 13 I consider to be the blue phone.
Now, you said iPhone 11 and iPhone 13. Probably every single person probably knows exactly what you're talking about, but can you just make sure that it's super clear what you're talking about when you say 11 and 13?
So that's generally the make and the model of that particular phone. As we all hope, when we get a new phone, that there's been improvements. So as the cell phone goes up in the number, it's supposed to be better than the last one. So an iPhone 11 and a 13 would be therefore better, according to Apple standards, than the 11. They may share some of the same functionality, but there would be improvements from one or the other.
And the gray phone is the 11 or the 13?
Is the 11.
Okay. And what you're calling a blue phone is the 13?
That's correct.
Did you undertake to determine, well, first of all, is it possible by looking at data on phones to determine whether phones have done things like climb stairs?
It is.
Okay. Is it possible by looking at data on phones to determine basically a good idea about when those phones may have climbed upstairs? And can you tell us how we can know that?
Yes, there is a way. Now, I want you to consider if you take a public library and you have multiple bookshelves. You might have one for American history, you have one for the automobile, and you have one, let's say, for gardening.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Watch what water does to our body.
Study out of China took healthy volunteers and they put them on a 14-day water fast where they got nothing but water, with one exception. One group got 100 calories per day of prebiotic fiber. The folks who got the prebiotic fiber had no hunger, even with a 14-day water fast. Why? These guys were feeding their bacteria. The bacteria, in turn, sent GLP signals to the brain.
Well, I know through experience that I'm going to go work on a car. I'm not going to go to the American history or the gardening. I'm going to focus on the automobile. Same thing with the phone. So I know that when I start to look at data and I want to see what that phone's doing, I'm going to look at For example, if I want to see if it's doing any kind of emailing, I'm going to look at the email data. Or if somebody is surfing the internet, I'm going to look at the Safari, because these are Apple. I'm going to look at the Safari databases to see what that person may have been doing or the phone was doing. So when I'm trying to determine if a phone had made movement, one of the best apps that's on that database is the health app. And in that health app has a database, and that database will tell me with a little bit of math what's going on.
How does a phone know that it is being moved up a set of stairs or taking a step up, if you will?
So this is where my hardware experience came in handy. Inside of an iPhone is called an accelerometer. And what it does is not only measure the X, Y, but also the Z. So it's moving around. It's going left or right, up and down, and at angles. And when that chip inside, that integrated circuit, senses movement, it puts that movement in that health database. That's how it knows how many flights of stairs you've walked, how many steps you've taken, is that it's recording that information in that little database because that little integrated circuit.
What is the difference between steps, which you've just talked about based on the accelerometer, and let's say like geolocation, like, because there's another thing with GPS and geolocation. Can you explain what the difference is?
Yeah, so I'll start you from the high level. We talk about a cell tower, for example. A cell tower's radius is going to be 3 to 7 miles generally. You may get a little more, you may be a little less, but it's just a generalized area. You move to GPS, you're going to be within 300 feet of the particular mark, which is amazing because you've got a satellite a million miles away and you're 300 feet in your distance. Your geofencing could be anywhere between 30 to 50 feet. But when you're dealing with these steps, it's going to be within a normal person's step space. So we know that on average, a step is 8 inches. So it knows through the use of that integrated circuit that the phone has taken a step up because it has seen that sense, that 8 inches movement going upward.
Does the data help us to determine, I guess, how many steps? Can we say for sure that this was a certain number of steps by looking at the data? Or does it just tell us when we dive into it, and maybe I'm not explaining this very well, that's where I want you to help me. When we dive into it, can it tell us when it starts and when it ends? What can we get from it is what I'm getting at.
It gives us that. It does give us a start and it does give us an end. And it does that calculation based on the average size of a step. And it knows that when you've cleared X number of steps, 9, for example, that you've probably reached either a platform or you've reached the top of the step. And then it calculates that.
Did you take a look at the blue phone and the gray phone to determine steps specifically related to a time period to determine if these phones had climbed stairs?
I did.
Were you asked to try to determine if the phones climbed the stairs at the same time?
Yes, I was asked that, and I was able to determine that.
You were able to determine whether both the blue phone and the gray phone climbed the stairs at the same instance, at the same time?
That's correct.
Did you generate a document to, I guess, record that, record the time that the phones climbed the stairs together? Show you Defendant's Exhibit 70 and 71.
Dr. Nima, and I welcome you to Evergreen Endodontics. The root canal turned out very nicely, and I'm very pleased with the outcome.
Watching the artistry, it was breathtaking. It was breathtaking.
Beautiful. It was almost heavenly.
It awakens something in your heart.
It's going to sit with me. I'm going to be thinking about this all week.
We've been talking about coming together for many years now.
Nothing is perfect, but this was perfect.
I've seen videos online, but it didn't do it justice. To see it in person was mind-blowing.
I don't think anybody realizes how good this show is until you actually get into the theater and see it. They had this blend of control, expressiveness, gymnastic that just flowed and conveyed the story beautifully. They're really well trained. You can really see how good they are.
Incredible. Wish I could do what they could do.
He's a professionally trained ballroom dancer, and they impressed him so much.
Everyone had the same joy. It wasn't different levels of joy. Everyone was pronouncing each step together at the highest form. So I look at perfection. It was purely perfection.
The orchestra, we were blown away. That was absolutely one of our favorite parts, that you have a live orchestra and it's so rich.
What a treat to have Chinese instruments, traditional Chinese instruments with some Western instruments as well. The sound was very transporting.
I could just listen to it all the time. It was just so incredible. And if I could prescribe it, I would prescribe it as well to patients.
The scenery is so beautiful. We love when the dancers jump into the screen.
Our first witness, sorry. Showing you 70 and 71. Can you take a look at these?
Yeah. Yes, I'm familiar with them.
And you recognize those?
I do.
Are these the exhibits that you created to, I guess, recount the conclusion about the phones climbing the stairs at the same time?
They are.
Do they fairly and accurately represent those conclusions?
They do.
Defendants 70 and 71 moved to the middle.
No objections.
Admitted. Which of these two is the one that you would like to talk about first?
Well, certainly Exhibit 3, because that's more of the details, and where number 2 is Exhibit 70 is more of the summary of it.
Gotcha. So we'll look at Defendants Exhibit 71, okay?
Have you heard about Pop-On Roofing? We need 50 homeowners in your area to trial this radically simple new roofing service. Did this at no cost to try. This service is part of a program they're running to connect homeowners with professional Pop-On Roof.
But you can immediately go into the deliberation room. Again, do not do any deliberations until all 12 of y'all are present. Clearly, you've heard all the evidence in this case. Do not perform any research online, in person, paper, Google, AI, etc. No research whatsoever. Do not discuss the case with anyone. Do not discuss the case with anyone. With that, you're excused for the evening. Thank you. Anything from the state? Y'all can sit, stand, I'm fine. Anything from the state?
Yeah, no, Judge, sorry.
Anything from the defense? We're adjourned for the day. Thank you.
Nothing left.
Sheriff's Department's going to let the jurors go by. Thanks.